Hi, how are you? Welcome to the next video in the series of Healing Families Through Their Men. Today we're going to talk about anxiety and depression. This is something that is a challenge for a lot of people who are going through a breakup or a difficult time in their relationship. It can also actually start happening even before the relationship is having troubled signs. So it's quite difficult to live in a family with somebody who is suffering from acute depression and anxiety, and it can have a ripple effect onto everyone. So look, there are different types of depression, many different types. Some are situational and some are chemical. Situational means something has happened, and that's the reason the person is experiencing a temporary type of depression. Chemical could be something that doesn't actually have to be caused. It's something that could be genetic or hereditary as well. So the same with anxiety. There are many different types of anxieties. There's generalized anxiety disorder, but there's also post-traumatic stress disorder, phobias, fears, and so on and so forth. So for today's video, we're just going to refer to them in general as anxiety and depression. So what is that? It's generally a sense of impending doom. So if you're going through a challenging time, and this doesn't have to be in relation to your marriage or a personal relationship, it could be any sort of challenging time. If you have been predispositioned to depression, you may then associate to times in the past where things have felt challenging for you, and that old feeling is coming up, and you don't have the coping skills yet to know what to do about it. And especially if people have been previously medicated and not learnt the strategies, they may not know how to spot the early warning signs and also what to do to start managing it in the first instance. Just as a disclaimer, I definitely will recommend that you go to a GP if you're having any kind of suicidal thoughts, any prolonged periods of depression and darkness. And there's lots of specialists that work in this particular area. And if you do need medication, I suggest you take that advice on. I also believe that as well as being on medication, it's important to learn the strategies to cope. Okay, and a simple example of this is when there was a headline on the paper that students doing their HSC were not coping with the stress, and in fact parents were taking them to the doctors and saying, we need some kind of medication, my kid is really anxious and the exams are coming up and I don't know what to do. So they were voluntarily asking doctors to give their children drugs and causing all kinds of problems and addictions as a result of that. Now, there is a technique, we'll get into it a bit later, where it's been proven very effective to align the heart, the brain, and the body for students to settle them down before exams. And I'll be very happy to share that. It also works really effectively with any kind of depression and anxiety related to separation or relationship challenges. So, if my clients are having panic attacks frequently, that's a warning sign to me as well. There, has to be a better way for you to handle the stress and know that there are options as well as other, more extreme medications, etc., and therapies that you can actually do to just help yourself with a good base foundation. Now, why do people get depressed and feel anxious? Well, Dr. Demartini says it's when people are living in a fantasy and their reality doesn't match up to what they wish their fantasy would be. And, then feeling disappointed that their current reality isn't what they really want. And that's what that, I guess, expectation has caused that suffering or depression. Now, focusing on things that have gone wrong in the past is what causes depression. And worrying about things that might go wrong in the future is what causes anxiety. Now, I remember seeing a quote saying that worrying is praying for something that you don't want. And our unconscious mind is so powerful. Unfortunately, if we are consciously worrying and stressing about things, it is our slave, and it will create more of the same things to worry about. That is explained in greater detail in my online course, but for the purpose of this video, just be aware that when you worry, you're actually reinforcing a creation of things that you don't want to come into reality. So how do we, address these issues of anxiety and depression? Well, the very, very famous and well-known technique is to become present in the now. And there's extensive work by Eckhart Tolle, and he has also got lots of free videos on YouTube that I would highly recommend that you listen to immediately if you are feeling any kind of depression, anxiety, or have suicidal thoughts. He is somebody who has tried to kill himself several times and finally got the elixir of the truth and is happily sharing that. So I would highly encourage you to do that. The other thing is when we talk about the base and the foundation of being well, that also means, getting effective sleep. So putting time aside to rest properly. If you're having troubles falling asleep, use meditations, breath works, make sure you take regular exercise and have some really good nutrients in your body. And if possible, get some sunlight, get some natural vitamin D, and that will help you to just be in a better state of mind. The other thing is you need to work on other self-care things, such as possibly what is it that you like to do creatively. I remember having a conversation with one of my clients who loves refurbishing old furniture, and it's something that really lights him up. So find out what it is that you like to do and fill your cup as well, and make sure that you feel recharged at the end of each day, and even if it's only for 10 or 15 minutes. The other thing in line with doing all of these practices is learning some resilience techniques, and those are quite easy to do. There's many of them that will help you to just start feeling better. So what if you are experiencing those signs of panic, anxiety, depression, struggling to get out of bed, having clammy hands or racing heart, or a sweaty brow, or just not really understanding why you can't focus on work anymore? It could be affecting so many different parts of your life. The first thing is listen to your internal dialogue. Are you blaming other people? Like, is it someone else's responsibility to make you feel better? Okay, so when you realize it is no one else's responsibility and that you need to take that full ownership, that's the stage where you can actually begin your healing. Go to your GP. They may offer you a mental health plan. What you can also do is, if you're really desperate at any moment, please ring Lifeline. If you type help into Google, the number for Lifeline will pop up. Just give them a call. The phones are manned 24/7, and many people I know have used that service. It's wonderful. Okay. The other thing I would encourage you to do as men, especially when we are looking for healing through you in a family, is to talk. You must talk to anyone you feel comfortable with. I know there's been so much negativity toward men growing up. They're not encouraged to take the emotions out, and you've certainly been told to like man up and boys don't cry and all of that type of stuff. But if you have access to a trusted friend, talk to him or talk to her, you know, talk to your GP or anyone, your boss, anyone that you have a good close rapport with. And if not, you know, seek a therapist that is qualified to listen to you and to actually help you with a strategy to feel better. Okay, so if you need anything else, please contact me at ranicoaching.com. And if you have any other questions, I would love to hear any comments and questions under this video. So please go ahead and post. Thank you.